Hello friends, I am Hardik Patel and welcome to Arotech channel. In this video we are going to talk about Celery package which is going to be used in Django project. So Celery is basically a synchronous task executor package which we are going to integrate in our Django project. So to see how we can integrate and how we can use that in our project, let's get started. First, we should have one virtual environment. Basically, if you are integrating this package in existing project, then you don't need to worry about these steps. And I have already created one virtual environment, so I'm just going to activate that. Work on Celery demo. Okay. So I have just activated this virtual environment. First, we have to install Django so we can start a new project using Django package. Okay. So pip install Django. So as I have already installed that to save the time. So yeah, right. So let's create one project here. Django admin start project. Let's give the name Celery example. Okay. So project is created and let's get inside by doing Celery example. First, we will migrate. So all the default packages will be migrated. So all the default migration files will be migrated into the database. So for now, we are going to use just only SQLite database. So we don't need to worry about database and everything because that is different part and which I have already covered in our Django series. So you can see that and you can learn from there. Now project is ready. Let's open the project in our Visual Studio Code. Alright, so project is open now. We are able to see all the files here. This is our project folder and yes, we have this manage.py file. Let's get started to integrate Celery. So first you need to go into the browser and just search that Celery in Django. Okay, so Celery package itself provides tutorial for integrating that in Django. So we just need to click on this first step with Django and to save the time. Definitely we can pick something which is ready. So we can save our own time as well. So as you can see, this is the folder structure as we have. Our project name is Celery example, then manage.py and the project app itself. So Celery example again, and inside that we have settings.py and urls.py, right? And as it has suggested that we need to write this Celery.py file in project name inside the project app and then Celery.py. So let's create one blank file here inside this new file Celery.py. Okay, and now we are going to copy this whole code, sample code, and just need to paste here. Okay, now let me explain one by one line. So basically this is for we are importing absolute import from the future. So this Celery.py package won't clash with this import. Okay, then we are importing OS, so which is basically used for this Django settings module in the Celery app. So we are going to get this Celery app into our Django context, and in that case Celery should have some settings from there. So basically we can put some settings in settings.py and those can be loaded here in Celery.py as well. Okay, so we are just going to change this clause to Celery example. Okay, then same way here we are going to just name the project name. Okay, now our app is ready. Now as you can see here, they have already imported django.conf settings and namespace is Celery. So what does it mean? It means whatever settings you are going to write in the settings.py, it should have Celery as a prefix. So this can understand whatever settings you are providing. So anyways, we are going to provide two settings in this video, so you will be able to understand that. Okay, and this is the app.auto-discover task. So what does it do? So whenever we run the project, this Celery.py, once the app is ready, it will go inside the install apps, this settings actually, and it will go to one by one all the apps and find the tasks.py file where we are going to define all the tasks, and those will be discovered by the Celery and solved by the Celery workers. Okay, so for that reason we need to write this one, and this is just a debug task. So whenever we are going to run the worker, you will be able to see this task. So let's first finish the configuration and then we will run the worker, so you will be able to see this debug task will be discovered. Okay, now Celery.py is ready. Now we need to import this Celery app into our Django project. So how we can do that? So for that purpose, you need to write two lines of code in the init.py. Okay, so whenever you run the project, this file will be loaded first, and due to that, Django will know that Celery.py file is also there and the app will be imported there. So let's do that. So same way, we have to import that line to avoid the conflict. Then you need to import from Celery import app, and just I am for the sake of common word as an app, I am writing the Celery. Now sometimes you import star, right? So for the purpose we need to change the variable all. So here we need to mention you just can import only Celery app, even though if you write import star. Okay, so this is ready. Now Celery is integrated with the Django. Now let's see we can run or not. Okay, so first I will run the project. So it runs, that means there is no error inside that, and I am just adding one more terminal here, and I will enable that package again. And how can we run the worker? So there is a command Celery. Yes, before that I just forgot to mention that how we can install the Celery. So basically Celery has functionality to work for asynchronous task, which is our basic purpose, right? But how it works asynchronously? So basically there is one queuing system, or you can say one broker is going to there, and in this case in the Celery they are using by default a RabbitMQ server. So if RabbitMQ server is not installed, it is not going to work. So for now, we have to install two things. First, we need to install the Celery package. So how can we do that? Pip install Celery. So basically when I ran this project, it didn't give me any error because I already have installed this Celery package. But if you do not have, please install that. So it installs Celery and it also installs the broker protocol. So as you can see, AMQP protocol is used for the RabbitMQ server transmission. Okay, so also you need to install like this brew install RabbitMQ. So basically you need to install RabbitMQ server as well, which I have already installed. If you are using the Ubuntu server, then what you need to do, you need to install apt-get install RabbitMQ server. Okay, so it will install the RabbitMQ server. Or also you can use the dockerized version of the RabbitMQ server, which is also very easy. Okay, so you just find how can we run the RabbitMQ server using Docker, or how can we install the RabbitMQ server in Linux as well as macOS. Okay, so that is very easy and there is no complexity, so I am not showing that particularly here. Okay, now let's run the broker here. So for that you need to use Celery, then you need to mention the app, so -a for that, and the project name is Celery example, and then you need to write the command that is called worker. Okay, so if I hit this, it will run. As you can see here, it has loaded this app Celery example. Then transport protocol is AMQP, GEST, and this one, right? So it is basically using the RabbitMQ server for passing the message. Okay, so what happens whenever you run this server here, if you do any activity, and then automatically that message will be passed through this to this worker. It will receive this from this. Okay, and there are other parameters which we are going to talk about just after this. Then concurrency level is 4, so 4 workers are running for now. Then other things are there also. So yeah, as you can see, everything is working fine. Now let's define some tasks here. I am closing it now, and I am going to this Visual Studio Code, and I am going to create an app here. So how can we create app here? Python manage.py, and I am just giving that name is notification. Okay, start app notifications. Okay, so my app is ready now. As you can see here, the one app is created, and here I need to add one file that is called task.py. So basically, still it will not be discovered until and unless we add this app in settings.py. Okay, so you need to add here like this notifications. Okay, now app is installed in the Django project, and now the task file is also there, and now we can use all the tasks as a discoverable. Now one more thing, so how can we write the task here? So basically we need to show, basically it is going to a normal function which can be used directly to execute from Django itself, as well as you can call this function asynchronously through Celery RabbitMQ server or something like that. Okay, so to do that, first we need to import again same way from future import absolute import and literal, sorry, what was that? I just forgot the Unique literal. Even I don't remember because I'm just copying those lines sometimes. Alright, now we need to import from Celery, and that is called sad task. Okay, so basically you can do right this way, as I can show here, app.task. But how can we use this app in all the apps? If you do that, then those apps will not be coupled, loosely coupled. Sometimes there are some apps which can be removed or added. So in that case, that should not be dependent onto the project. And to help that, Celery has provided us set task function which will be useful for us. So it's a decorator. You need to write like this: set task, then name the function name, and sum a comma b, and we are just going to return a plus b. Okay, so that's it. This is the function. We have already installed this app into this installed apps, and let's run the worker again. I just need to write the log level of info. So once you write this log level as info, it will show all the information like this. So whatever tasks are loaded, those will be listed here. So as you can see, Celery example and Celery, that is Celery.py. Inside that we added also one task, that is debug task, and one that is for notifications app. And as you can see, some task is already loaded. Now let's call it from this. So for now, we are not going to call the function from any API or something, but at least we can call it from the Django shell. So I'm just going to start the Django shell like this. Once you go inside the shell, you just need to import the task like in a normal way. Import sum. Okay. Sorry. What I've done, notifications import. Oh, sorry, for dot task. Yeah. All right, so sum is imported, and if I call this sum like this 2 comma 3, it will be executed instant, as this function is very faster, so it gives us the response quickly, right? But how can we understand is this called asynchronously or synchronously? So to do that, I'm just going to put one sleep there, not here, here. So I'm just going to import time, and I'm going to put one thing here, time dot sleep. I'm just putting 10-second wait. Okay, so we'll be able to see the difference. Now I have to close this and run again. Right, same way we have to do here as well, because that function is already loaded, which was older one. So for a new one, definitely we have to change that. Okay, now it is again loaded. Now I'm calling this way, notifications dot task import sum. All right, so sum is imported. Now I'm just calling this sum and 2 comma 3. So as you can see, it is waiting for that sleep for the 10 seconds, and then it will return back the result, right? Now how can we call that function asynchronously? So basically what you need to do here, sum dot delay, there is one property function we have that is called delay, because of that set task decorator. Okay, so now you can call like this sum dot delay, and just pass same way all the arguments 2 plus 3, and what it will does, it will give you one task id or the task object. So as you can see, it is instantly called, we have a result. If you print this t, as you can see, it is async result. So basically you can check status like this, but for now you will not be able to check the status until and unless you will add the backend for that. That is called result backend. So there is one more, I am going to talk about the extension. So for that, I'm not adding here, but definitely I'm going to add those things. There are other extension I'm going to talk about also, so that is going to be the next video. So that's it from this video. For now, as you can see, we were able to call the same function two ways. If you call it directly, it will always give you result back instantly. That means you are going to wait for all those 10 seconds if you have put that sleep, or maybe it can be a lengthy function. Anyways, you are waiting for here. And here the second way where we are using delay function, and then that is called asynchronously. Basically what happens here, whenever you call this way with this argument, function or maybe you can say message will be sent through that broker, that can be anyone like Redis, RabbitMQ. There are other broker there, right? So we are using from now RabbitMQ. So we are going to pass that message through RabbitMQ, and that will be received by this worker. So as you can see, this is the worker. We received one task from this, as you can see here, and it was successfully executed in 10.001 second, because 10 second is for wait, and then this time for execution, and the result you can see here, that is 5, right? So that way you can call the asynchronous function using this delay. So this was just basic integration. Now maybe next video I'm going to talk about other things, like one extension is for result backend, then there is another package for periodic tasks, and there are a few more extensions that are there. So anyways, we are going to talk about in the next videos. Thanks for this video. If you have liked this video, please subscribe my channel, and please hit the bell icon as well, because I'm going to add more videos for this library, and you will get notification very instantly. So thanks for watching. Thank you.